Hello and welcome back, and today I am bringing you guys a review of The Fear of Moncroix by Brian Asher. Now, first I want to give all the apologies to Mr. Asher. He has been waiting quite a while for this review to come out. I got the book back in March, and I read it immediately, filmed the video for it, and then immediately got into a fight with Xfinity and lost my internet for 2 months. And then I got really depressed. So, this has been a long time coming. It's been a very, very long time coming, so I do apologize for having taken so long. It is unacceptable to me. I know the people are probably going to be like, it's okay, like, life happens, but it is just very unacceptable to me. So, I apologize. Now, with that said, I first want to give a little attention to this gorgeous, gorgeous cover. This is what drew me into the book when I seen it making its rounds all over Twitter. Like, this, can we just appreciate this beautiful piece of artwork right here? And then, to make it even better, there is art all throughout the book as well. So, as you can see, we get little pieces of art all throughout it. So, if that if that is going to be a drawing point for you, you will not be disappointed because the art is so great inside of this. So, The Fear of Moncroix follows Davion, a man who drinks special little potions to blend into a vampiric court, and eventually finds himself having to uncover who the unknown swordsman is, who is going around killing vampires and trying to find anyone who has any connection to the Waywards. Now, I'm going to start out by saying I am not a big fan of vampires. They are like my least paranormal creature. I'm a werewolf girl through and through. But every now and then, I read a book with a vampire in it, just to see what happens, what we can do. And I have to say, I really love what Asher did. I love his vampires in his little vampire world. The way that they have found different ways to eat, and just, like, they have the standard vampire ways. You know, they've got their courts and their politics and all of that other stuff, but I really like how he kind of changed up the way that they eat. Like, like there's still blood involved, but they have found other sources of food, and I just think it's really intriguing. And I was like, this is kind of fun. I like this. So I just want to start with that. I like the way that he portrayed his vampires in this. I kind of feel like we got like a nice little variety of them for being such a short book. So I did enjoy that. I did enjoy the vampires in this, and that comes from someone who doesn't like them. So I feel like that says something, maybe. Now, I want to start by saying that when you start this book, there is a prologue, and I know a lot of you readers have problems with prologues. Now, I'm a prologue girly. I love prologues, but I have to say, when I initially started this book and I read that prologue, and then I went into chapter 1, and it was like an immediate time jump. I was like, what is this? You built all of that up in the prologue, and I just get a time skip? I was so mad. I was like, I don't even understand why we did this. Why did you make me go through all of that? But if you hold out, Asher brings it full circle. He brings it full circle, and I was like, okay, I'm not mad anymore. I just had to be patient, which I'm not always able to do when I read a book. So do keep that in mind. If that jump from the prologue to the first chapter irritates you, stick it out. Just keep going. You're gonna get it full circle. It comes back around. It's worth it. It is worth it, okay? Just stick it through. I do believe the story was very well balanced between plot and action, and that's something that I have noticed shorter books do sometimes tend to struggle with, and I feel like Asher did find a really good balance with it, because I felt like I was getting just enough plot, but I was also getting just enough action. Especially the end of this book, it's like 20 pages of action, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, because you do get to a point in this story where you're like, there's so much going on, how are you wrapping this all up? What are we doing? And then it's just like this explosion at the end, and you're like, oh, that's how we're doing it. Okay, I see you. I see what we're doing here. And I really loved it. The final climax scene was just phenomenal. And the freaking twist, like the character reveal, oh my god. Like, I'm going through this whole story just like thinking like this is just like some other random character, this is just some new side character thing, like there. But then like everyone's like, oh, who's the mystery behind this character, who are they, wear masks, like who are they? And I'm just like, who are they? And then like I start forming theories, and of course the one character who it ends up being, not even in the realm of my theories. And I was like, oh, okay. And I love that. While I love making theories, I love being completely blindsided when I read my books. Like, and I'm pretty sure other readers might feel like this. If we can predict who somebody is going to be or what an event is going to happen, it does kind of bring the enjoyment of the story down a little bit. So the fact that I thought I had it figured out and then I was blindsided and it was somebody else, I was like, yes, this is good stuff. And I was so excited that I was wrong. Because it just made the enjoyment so much more, and it made the actual like reveal so much more shocking for me. And I feel like Asher hit it so freaking well. And maybe upon like second and third readings of this book or something, I'll end up like catching like the little hints or something here and there. But that first read through, I had no idea. And I'm so grateful that I didn't, because like I said, that reveal was so much sweeter for it. Now, the world building is very interesting, and I might myself be a tad bit confused, maybe a tad bit fuzzy on it, and it might just be me. Because sometimes I'm not that smart, okay? Sometimes I just get things mixed up. And I had a lot going on when I was reading this at the same time, too. So, from what I understand, this place takes place in, like, this intercontinence world that Asher has created. And it's almost as if like this vampiric land is like in a bubble somewhere, and if you like attempt to leave said place and you have a spirit's magic, you will either die if you leave or get like snapped back into it. Like I said, I'm a little fuzzy on it. I'm pretty sure a second read through will make it a lot more clearer for me, but it's an intriguing idea, and I think if I understood it more, I would be able to appreciate it a lot more. But just the fact that he said that there's like this intercontinence place, and it just kind of sounds like I'm dealing with like different bubble-like planets almost. Like, Mr. Asher, I'm sorry if I'm explaining your world wrong. I'm sorry. I'm just going to tell you that right. I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm a little fuzzy on it. But from what I understood, that is that some of these powers are connected to spirits in this world, and you either die leaving this world because you tried to take that spirit's power with you, or they like snap you back, or they just prevent you from leaving altogether. Like, it is interesting. It's intriguing. I'm probably gonna have to do a second read through to really, really lock down and get like a full understanding of what I'm dealing with. But I do think it's intriguing, and I do think maybe any of you who decide to pick this up will have a better chance understanding it when you read it. Sometimes I have to read things like 2 or 3 times before I fully grasp what is being told to me, and I'm not afraid to admit that. Now, there are just two or three little minor things that, for me, 2 of them I could consider an issue. One was just like I was let down with how the scene played out. So I will talk about those 3 things as spoiler-free as possible. And I don't want to explain these things as like a deterrent for you guys, but like these were just like something that like really stuck out to me. So one of the first ones is a word that was used over and over and over again, and that would be the word vampiric. This word, this word, by the end of the book, I was like, if I have to hear the word vampiric one more time, I will drive a stake through somebody's heart. I really will. I think writing wise, because other than that, like the writing is very easy. It's very easy to follow along with, and it's, you get into it, you click into it, and you just go and go and go. For me, just like being told everything was a vampiric power, a vampiric motion, a vampiric this and a vampiric that, I was like, they're vampires. I know it's vampiric. stop it. And again, I this is me. This is a nitpicky thing for me. And it was just like, after a while, I just honestly started blocking out the word. And so, like, if it was like this character who I know is a vampire jumped into a tree, I'm like, I know he went from ground to branch. I don't need to know that he did a vampiric jump to do that. So I just started blocking the word out after a while, because I was like, they're vampires. I know their powers. I know they have powers. They have heightened senses, speed, strength. You know, like, in some lore, they can turn into bats. Some, they disappear. Like, I don't... I was just like, stop with this word. I hate it. So that for me was just like a minor nitpick that got to me after a while. I don't know if anyone else has had that problem with this. Maybe it's just me just being overly nitpicky about words. So the two second things that I have, they're not bad things. These are just some complaints, some slight disappointments I had. So Karnith is our other character that we end up meeting, we end up following, and when we were learning who his father was, I was thinking it was a very certain person that we meet at the very, very beginning of the book. And it's because of the way Karnith, like, comes out and he comes across talking about his father, that he's like, oh, he was so prolific and so important and so this. And I was like, oh, your dad is the one guy from the beginning. It was a side character from the beginning. And I was like, that's a choice? Because once he said his father's name, I was like, who? Who? I was very confused. I had to stop, and I went back to the prologue. I reread the entire prologue to see if his father was even mentioned, and he is. But he was definitely not the guy who I was thinking it was gonna be. And in my head, I was like, that is a very interesting choice by the author. I was like, this is an interesting choice, because in that prologue, he makes one character stand out more than the others. And so when Karnith comes into the story, your mind immediately connects back to that character, and then it's not that character. And I was like, this is a choice. What? Like I said, it's not like I have a problem with it. I was just very intrigued by the thought process and the choice of it, because it's not something I would have done, and it's not something I would have really expected a different author to do either. So I was just like more surprised, because I was like, okay, this guy is just gonna like just hit me with, he's gonna blindside me so many times. Like, he was just gonna come in and just like slap you around and blindside you anytime he was like, you think you know, but you don't. And like, okay, I see how you are. Okay, I just can't predict your books, I guess. That's a good thing. And so the other one that was actually just like a really big kind of like scene disappointment for me was, there is a scene between characters A and B, because I'm gonna not try and spoil it for you guys. Character between A and B. A admits to B all of his secrets and makes this big decision to inform character B, like, who they are, what they've been doing, all of that stuff, just reveal everything to them. And I was like, ooh, what is character B's reaction gonna be? And then, like, the chapter ends there, where he finishes, like, you know, telling him the business and stuff. And then it goes to a different character chapter, and then it goes back to them, and it's completely skipped over. I don't get to see character B's reaction. And I think out of the entire book, that is the thing I was most disappointed with, because I wanted to see how character B was going to react. I was looking forward to that, because at that point, what character A was revealing was supposed to be like a very big, heavy, important secret decision, you know, like this was important. And the fact that I didn't get to see how B responded to it and just kind of got like a quick play-by-play, I was like, oh. I think that is definitely the one big thing that I was 100% disappointed with. I don't know if it's going to affect other people like that, because I personally like seeing people react to important information. I like seeing both sides of the quarter, basically. I want to see the one make that decision, like, I can trust this person, I can tell them these important things, and I want to see the person on the receiving end. I want to see how they're going to respond. Are they going to get mad? Are they going to get happy? Are they going to be like, what? Are they going to be confused? Like, you know what I mean? So I do say that, I do have to say that was the one thing that disappointed me throughout the entire book, because other than that, I loved the book. I loved it. I enjoyed this so much. You know, I want to know a bit more. It does end to where it's like, hey, more adventures coming, and I'm like, hi, okay, let's do it. So I am looking forward to those, as I'm looking forward to whatever comes next for Davion, and I do think that this is very much worth checking out. It is worth your time. You're gonna have a good time with it, and if you're like me and you can't figure out what's gonna happen at the end, and you meet that twist character reveal, like, I hope you're just as surprised as I was, because I was just like, who? I have to say, that was the best part of the entire book. Like, the end of this book was the best. Like, everything was great, except for that one scene I was disappointed in, but everything was great. But the climax of this book, the end of it was fantastic. So that is my review for The Fear of Moncroix. I hope this enticed you guys to pick it up, and I am looking forward to seeing what else happens with Davion. I know Asher has 2 other books in his intercontinent connected world, so I'm kind of interested to seeing like how that really works, and just understanding the world building, because that's a fault on myself. That is not a fault on the author. I think that's more a fault on me. So do take that little bit like with a grain of salt, that it's probably me and not the book and the author. Do keep that in mind, please. So if you've read this and you loved it, or if you didn't, you know, just, or if you, any comments you want to say about it, just drop them down below. Like, subscribe, all of those good things, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.